Number 11. The question says, if a watch store paid $125 per watch, so it's going to be $125 per watch, for shipment of watches and sold all but 15 watches from the shipment for $150 per watch. So they bought it for $125, but then they sold it, okay? They sold it for $150 a watch. Then in terms of the number of watches in the shipment Y, what should you do? Cross that out. What function describes the watch store's profit? Okay, so the profit is going to be how much money they made or how much money they lost. So in this case, you don't know how many watches were originally purchased. So that's the number that you're going to plug in. Okay, so they use the number 20. Okay, because if there were 20 watches that were purchased, then you know that it said that all but 15 were sold. That means how many were sold? That means 5 was sold, right? Because if 15 are left over, if there's 15 left, that means how many were sold? Subtract that, 5 were actually sold. All right, so if you want to find out what the profit is, you have to first figure out then 5 times, they sold it for 150, okay? So 150 times 5. By the way, this says no calculator, so you're gonna have to do the work on your own. That's gonna be 0 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25, carry the 2. That's gonna be $750 that they're gonna make, okay? But remember, that's how much he sold, but how much did he purchase each watch for? We say that originally he bought 20. So you're going to also have to take that 20 and multiply it by the original number he paid for it. Okay, so that's going to be 20 times 125. Okay, and that's going to turn out to be 125 times 20. Remember, the little secret is the zero is kind of like an invisible zero. We'll save that for later. 5 times 2 is 10. Carry the 1 over. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. And that's going to be times 2. It's going to be 2,500. All right, but we know that he sold $750 worth. So really, this guy is not a very good businessman. Okay, he didn't make much of a profit. He is in the red. If he's sitting on 15 watches and he hasn't sold them, this is going to be not really a profit, but he's going to be out $1,750. Okay, that's how much he lost, because if he wants to make a profit, he needs to sell more watches. Okay, so this is going to be our target number. Okay, this is our target number, and what you would have to do to find this match is you have to go into A, B, C, D, all those answer choices, and every time you see a Y, you have to plug in 20. So the one that actually works is answer C. Answer C says 150 times Y minus 15 minus 125Y. And yeah, you cannot use your calculator for this, okay? This is the new math of the SAT. They want to trip you up by not letting you use your calculator. So our Y is 20. You're going to plug this 20 into this Y right here. You're going to do this for every single one, but I'm just taking you straight to the answer. So that's basically 20 minus 15, okay, which is going to be 5 times 150. 5 times 150 we already know is 750, okay, minus 125 times Y. We already did that math right here, and we know that's 2,000. This right here is going to be 2,500. That's going to give us exactly negative 1,750. And I don't have my bell, but ding, 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 match made in heaven. Okay, if you don't understand this, please pause it or rewind back to 00 minutes. Next question is going to be number 13 on page 8. It says here, there is this expression, x to the third minus x squared minus 32x plus 60. And it says that it can be rewritten in the equivalent form. whenever you see the word equivalent form, that basically means this equals this right here, k times x minus 2. Okay, so which of the following is equivalent to k? So in the end, we need to find out what is k. So I'm going to put that in a box right here so we know what we're going to look for. So again, you're going to plug in a number. Okay, now for this one, you know, I always tell you to start off with 2, but in this case, if you start off with a 2, you know, let's just try it, okay? So you'll see why we're going to not use 2. If you plug 2 in here, then that's going to go to 2 to the 3rd power minus 2 to the 4th power, or 2 to the 2nd power minus 32 times 2 plus 60. Okay, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8 minus 4 minus 32 times 2 plus 60. Okay, when you do the math right here, all of this right here equals negative 60. Negative 60 plus 60 equals 0. We don't want to work with a 0 here, okay? So instead, we're going to cross that out, and we're going to do x equals 3 instead. When you do that, that's going to be 3 to the 3rd minus 3 to the 2nd power minus 32 times 3 plus 60. Okay, and if you solve this, it's going to come out to 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Minus 9. Minus, and let me do this right here, okay? 32 times 3 is 96. Plus 60. Okay, and so you have to do the math. Just start it right here first. 27 minus 9 is, help me out, anybody? $27 minus 9. This is the, okay, that's going to be 18 minus 96. So think about minus 96. So basically you're going to have to do this from it. And that's going to be 878 negative plus 60. Okay? And basically this is going to equal negative 18. So negative 18 equals k x minus 2. Okay, so when we plugged it in, negative 18, that's what we got on this side, but remember, this side equals that right here. Okay, so 18 now equals k times the quantity x minus 2. Now think about, what was your x? Your original x was 3. So you take this number and you plug it in right there, and that's going to turn it into k times 3 minus 2, which is 1, equals negative 18, and k is going to equal negative 18. This is your number. Okay, this is your answer down here. And you have to find its match made in heaven. So I'm going to take you straight to the answer, because you would have to take your x, which is 3, and plug it into a. And then you'll find that a does not match negative 18. It actually comes out to 34. Okay? And then when you go to b, b is the answer, everybody. It's x squared plus x minus 30. Okay, so that's going to be x is 3, so 3 squared plus 3 minus 30. That's 9 plus 3 is 12. 12 minus 30 equals negative 18, and we have a match made in heaven. Okay? Again, if you didn't understand that, go back to about 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and rewind it and rewatch it. The next question is going to be on page number 8, number 14. Okay, this question says x is less than 0. So what does that mean? That means x is going to be a negative number. And then it also gives you another given. 9 is less than the absolute value of x minus 5, which is less than 10. Which of the following includes the possible values of x minus 1? Okay, because if you look at the answer choices, they're all something dealing with x minus 1. Now let's just understand what this is. This is the given. Therefore, anything that you stick into here has to obey first this law. It needs to be a negative number. And then it also needs to obey this law right here. Look at it, number 9 and number 10. You might think, I'm confused here because 9 and 10 are consecutive numbers. Yes, it is. That means that this number that's going to be in the middle is going to be a decimal, okay, or a fraction, whichever one you're going to choose to go with. I'm going to go with a decimal, okay? So anyway, if the number is a negative number, so let's just say here you go like, oh, okay, well, x is -1. That doesn't work, because if you said x is -1, well, that doesn't work because -1 minus 5 is -6. And this absolute value sign means that whatever math you did in here and then you pull it out, after that it makes it positive. Okay, so that would make it -1 minus 5. That equals -6. And when you pull it out of these absolute value signs, that's going to be a +6. +6 is not between the numbers 9 and 10. Okay? And then you're going to go, okay, I need to go bigger then. So even if you use a number like x equals -5. Look, -5 minus 5 would be -10. And when you take it out of the absolute value, it's going to be +10. +10 is not between 9 and 10. It equals this one. So we have to come up with a decimal number that will help us fit in, which is why they told you to use a number like -4.5. If x is -4.5 and you're subtracting by 5, that's going to be -9.5. And then if you take it out of the absolute values, it'll be +9.5. And +9.5 definitely is between the numbers 9 and 10. Okay? And so what you have to do is take your number, and you have to take this number, -4.5, and plug it into A, B, C, and D, and find out which one ends up becoming a true number. Okay, so let me just show you why A doesn't work. Answer A states 3 is less than the absolute value of x minus 1, absolute value sign, 4. So if it's -4.5 minus 1, that's going to be -5.5. Take it out of the absolute value sign, it's going to be 5.5. Do you guys see how this does not work? That is too big. It does not go in between 3 and 4. A is out of the question. Okay, let's look at B, which happens to be the correct answer. 5 is less than the absolute value sign of x minus 1, which is less than 6. Okay, so if we take -4.5 minus 1, that'll be -5.5. And then you take it out of the absolute values, you're going to get 5.5. Is 5.5 in between the numbers 5 and 6? Yes, it is. Therefore, B is the answer. Again, pause it or review it again if you don't understand it.